So let's talk about set and awk. You are probably not going to like set and awk if you've never worked with them before. And the reason is that in the very old days of Unix, that is back in the 1970s, processing text files was very important. We didn't have nice monitors in that time. In most times there was just a printer connected to a computer. So you were working as an administrator kind of in the blind. And if you're working without seeing anything, it is important to have the appropriate utility to get the right information out of a file. And that is kind of the time that sed and awk were invented to do powerful command line, file processing. Nowadays we don't need it anymore. There are people that are still using it, but there are also very good Linux administrators that don't use sed and awk at all. So let me do some examples. Let me do sed first. So sed to q on /etc pass wd. Now what is that going to do? Well, it's going to show us the first two lines of the etc pass wd file. Now let me try something else, like sed minus n followed by a nice regular expression. I want to see everything starting with the text root, and I want a p for print on the file etc pass wd, and that shows me all the lines starting with the text root on etc pass wd. Now there is a very good reason why people don't use sed as much anymore, and that is because much of the functionality that was previously only offered by sed can now be obtained by using other utilities. I mean, between this sed command or just grep caret root on etc pass wd, the result is the same, but the grep command is a lot nicer, and that is probably why you aren't going to use sed a lot. Now there's one thing that can be interesting. In order to do that, I need a backup of the passwd file. So let me copy etc passwd to my home directory. So I'm in my home directory and I've got my passwd file. Let me show the contents of passwd, and we can see that there's a user with the name Linda. Now imagine that I want to replace Linda with something else. Then I can use sed minus I for interactive, and then I put the string, which is the operation that I want sed to be doing. So S for substitute, the old text is the text to be replaced with, the new text is the text to replace it with, and make that a global substitution as well. Oops, and it's telling me that we don't have any input file. So just type the name of the input file that you want to be using, and now you can see passwd has been processed. And the interesting thing is that the modification have been written directly to the passwd file. You can see no more Linda, but a Julia. This isn't very nice. We have two users Julia, but we will take care of that later. It's just the example, and hey, this is not etc passwd, this is a copy of passwd to my local home directory. Now another utility that you may be using sometimes is awk. Awk is also a utility that is doing many things that you can do with other files, with other tools as well. Now there is one thing that I do like to be doing with awk, and that is cutting out information. Let's do PSAUX, which is giving me a list of all processes. Now let's imagine that I want to grab the lines that contain the text Apache. There you go. And let's imagine that I need the second column. You could use cut, cut minus F2, but you can see that cut has a hard time in recognizing the second field. Awk is a lot more precise. So if I do awk and then the awk command print $2, you can see that we have the second column. So if it is for filtering out columns of texts from whatever, awk is a useful command. And that is basically the only thing that I consider useful about awk nowadays. So if you do know how to use awk already and you know how to do many more things with it, that is fine with me, but you don't have to. This is just enough. So awk, after the command awk, we put between single quotes the command that you want awk to accomplish, which in this case is print, and $2 just refers to the second column. So if you want to have the sixth column, for example, make that $6 or whatever. So don't let set and awk confuse you, because they are difficult to use utilities. Just take care of what you really want to be doing with those utilities and you'll be all fine.